Okay, clap.
Cancer related to that.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and after I heard about this like sustainability, because I'm really into competition, are you going to make a presentation out of this topic?
I definitely think there will be some kind of like narrative, and I'm certain that like elements of like what I've been learning over the last year and a half will make its way into my set, I'm sure, but I don't know in what way that's gonna look.
I should naturally think about the competition.
Okay. I think about the competition all the time, but mostly I think about how I need to start working on the competition. It's always in the back of my mind, and I feel like I don't really know totally what I'm going to talk about yet. I have an idea, but it's not nailed down. I do need to nail that down very soon, though. I am excited to build this set, though. I'm excited to I honestly probably would have done just a version of whatever I did at Nationals had it happened right away, but over the last year, just so many different thoughts have gone through my mind, like, oh, maybe I should talk about this topic, or like, oh, maybe I should talk about this topic, and it's always kind of like this revolving door of different topics or like different ideas or different things that are like, I guess, front and center. And so by the time I ever like sit down and actually figure it out, it probably will look very different than had I have done it like 6 months ago or like 8 months ago or even a year and a half ago too. So
I think it is what makes coffee competition super cool, because it is not just about the skill competition, and we barista have a chance to deliver our thoughts during the set.
Yeah, I think it's like it's a tricky thing to figure out how to like marry like your coffee and like your technique with what you're talking about, because I think that people could be really good storytellers, but then maybe not like connect it fully to like what they're doing on stage. Or people can be like great at making coffee, but like their story doesn't connect at all to the cup. But being able to figure out how your coffee and what you're doing connects with what you're saying is like so major and so hard to do.
Yeah, it is so hard.
Yeah, obviously I try my best to like get high marks on the score sheet with coffee and technique and that sort of thing, but my personality type is like the kind of person where I like want to talk about something that matters to me, or like something I want to tell a story. And so I think like just feedback that I've had in the past too is like how my story didn't totally connect, and it took me like, well, I guess 5 rounds to like get it right. And so it is a trickier thing to try and get both of those to match up, but when it's done really well, and you can have, it's like the greatest set in 15 minutes, and when you watch people who like really connect like the story and the coffee. I
think that's one of the biggest difference between experienced competitor and a new competitor. And I really like watching those like well-made presentation. And so please keep
maybe at least one more time.
At
least one more time at Worlds, and then we'll see from there. I'm not really sure if I'll do more than that. That's what everyone says. Oh, you say that now. But yeah, I mean, I obviously, if I'm not going to compete there, like I really love competition, and I personally feel like competition was definitely like key for my own like coffee like professional life. So even if I'm not competing, I'll still be like involved in competition, because I really believe in it. And I think it's just like such a great place for baristas to be, whether you're competing or not. Like volunteering and like doing that kind of stuff too is like just as valuable. Judging, volunteering, like the whole entire like community of competition, I think is so great. So whether or not I'm like making the coffee, I will be there in some way. We'll see.
Yeah. Are you interested in being a judge?
Yeah, so I got to judge brewers a couple of years, and
It's just me.
I judged you.
Fine.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I won.
and you won. Yeah, and I got to judge finals the last round of brewers too that we had, and I loved judging. I feel like, especially like Brewers Cup, that like weekend that we did it the very first time, I feel like I learned so much. I guess because you're like judging someone and their set and like thinking about their set, their coffee, how it tastes, breaking down all of those things. It was like I felt that I learned so much, and it was such a good experience. I loved judging, so I would love to keep judging brewers for sure. I think even from judging brewers and then competing as a barista competitor, it also gave me like new perspective from like judging competitors, and then thinking about those kinds of things when I'm preparing for my set was super helpful. Yeah, I think judging is great. I would recommend you do it someday when you're ever not competing in every competition.
Yeah.
You'd be a great judge. Maybe not barista if you think you're going to throw up, but you should you should do brewers.
Yeah, brewers. Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things from like my last regional competition to nationals was I switched my focused on my tech score sheet. That really helped me. So not to think about like if I had only done this, but like really looking at your score sheet and like where are these point differentials like really coming from, and like are there easy things that I can do to increase my score. And I feel like tech is like such a good place for that because they're very objective points. It's either like a yes or a no. And so if you don't get it, you don't get it. And so when you look at that score sheet, you can really like gain points by focusing on that one and try and get more yeses on that score sheet, or like
And during the practice, it is really important to get used to all those things without thinking.
Yeah, I'm talking to like Captain Tech here, so.
Yeah, and also that's one of the parts that I really enjoy during the practice. Yeah.
See, that's where we're very different, because that part is like, it is like a necessary evil for me. Like, you have to nail it down. Where I remember like watching you, and everybody always talks about like watching you behind the stage, because I think one year we were watching you and you were just like casually moving your scales like with your pinkies. Like it was just like you're not really thinking about it. It's just like.
Yeah. Even when I watch other competitors set, I learn a lot from other competitors. Yeah. And it's kind of a puzzle, a time puzzle.
A time puzzle. Yeah. Watching lots of YouTube videos of people who like compete all over the world and like at worlds and different competitions, and seeing like how people organize their station, or like what order they do things. It really,
where's the handle is pointing.
Yeah, all those things.